What a Cutie, where I will be taking you through my adventures of collecting and cooking in my mini kitchen. So today I'm going to be making a really quick ice cream. You don't need a machine for it. It's been so hot here in Cali. I thought this would be a great idea for you guys if you're an ice cream addict like myself, or to do with your kids. I have a special guest with me today. Every week I'll have a special guest to help me whip up some goodies. While I get everything ready, make sure you go like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. All right, here we go. All right, so it's been super hot here in Cali. I think today we're gonna hit 110. So I wanted to do something fun, something that you can do with your kids. Also something that is super quick. So I wanted to do some ice cream, and it's ice cream that you don't need a machine for, which most of us don't have. So I wanted to just show you what we're gonna be using. So I have my little mason jar here. You can use a mason jar, you can use another larger glass container, but make sure it has a lid that seals good. I keep some of my jars that are like from spaghetti and stuff like that, just because that's how I am. So that's what I'm using today. So we'll be using some heavy cream, some allulose. Allulose is key because it's what keeps your ice cream creamy, because I've tried this recipe without it and it makes a big difference. So we're going to be using some allulose. We're going to be using some sugar-free vanilla syrup and some vanilla extract, and then also just a pinch of salt. And so I'm going to be making a kind of like a cookie dough chocolate chip ice cream, so I'll be adding these items in as well. All right, so let's get this show on the road. All right, so this little guy is joining me today. Who better than Mr. Freeze to help us freeze up our ice cream? All right, so first thing we're gonna get is we're gonna use a cup. That's 1 cup of heavy cream. Let's get the allulose in there. So this is 3 tablespoons of allulose. Of course, I made a mess. Have 1 tablespoon of sugar-free vanilla syrup, 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, and just a little hint of salt in there. All right, so next you want to get that lid on there, and you want to shake that up. We shook up that jar of cream. It got pretty thick, so now let's add in our additions. Also guys, I'm making this a super low carb, so I'm using sugar-free baking chips. I'm also using these super low carb chocolate chip cookies that I have, but feel free to use regular items. I mean, if you have regular chocolate chips or some regular cookies laying around, I mean, you can add in pretty much whatever you have, whatever your kids want to put in there. Anything's going to turn out great. Here we go. Put as little or as much as you want. On these cookies, I'm going to put the whole cookie in there because I'm going to shake it up and they're going to break up a little bit. So this is the size. As you can see, they're not very big. So I'm going to be putting them in their whole. So I was kind of at the end of this bag, so there's a lot of crumbs in here. So I'm just gonna go ahead and literally throw all that in there. Once it gets mixed in, it's gonna be so good. All right, so let's mix it up again. Now this is gonna go in the freezer for probably about 3 or 4 hours. Little tip here, guys. I recommend like every couple hours to kind of take it out of the freezer and shake it up a bit. I've tried just leaving it in there. It comes out okay, but that adds a little bit extra creaminess to it. I don't know if that's the right word, but like halfway through, go in and shake it up again.
3 hours later.
So let's get the ice cream out of the freezer. You want to let it sit out for a tiny bit because you need to let it get a little smooth. So let's let it sit out for a couple minutes and then we'll get it into our little cone. Okay, so here are the items that you're gonna need to make our little waffle cone. So I'm gonna melt some butter. I use real butter. And then I'm gonna make a little mixture of some sweetener, monk fruit, and cinnamon, but you can use regular sugar if you want. I'm just trying to keep this really low carb. You're gonna use your bowl because we're gonna cut out a little circle and I'll show you how. And then, like I said, I'm using cut the carb. So these are some little flatbreads. You can use anything you want. I'm using these because I love them. And it's only 9 carbs for the whole thing. All right, so I'm gonna melt that butter and get the monk fruit sweetener and cinnamon in a little bowl. And then I will show you how we cut out the flatbread to make our little waffle cone. So I cut some butter. I put about 2 tablespoons in here. So I'm gonna go ahead and melt it up. Get some of that monk fruit sweetener. Like I said, you can use anything you want. If you have regular sugar, you can use stevia. There's a lot of different things you can use, but I love monk fruit. So I'm gonna put in 1.5 tablespoons in here. And then just cinnamon to your liking. I love cinnamon, so extra cinnamon for me. And just go ahead and get that all mixed up. All right, let's get our butter out of the microwave. Right, so this is what we're gonna use our little bowl for. So here's my piece that's left because I made one of these earlier. So you're just gonna actually put the bowl on here, get it evened out, and you're literally just gonna cut around. Right, now that we cut all around, then we should have our little shape. All right, so go ahead and just peel off all the outside that you cut. And you should have a nice little circle to fit in your waffle maker. So I used a bowl that was about the size of my waffle maker, and you'll see why in a minute. Okay, so now we're gonna get that melted butter. And you're just gonna spread it all over. Generously. All right, do that on both sides. We're gonna get our little cinnamon sugar mixture and just sprinkle it all over. Again, put as much as you want and repeat on the second side. Make sure that waffle maker is hot. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna put this little guy in there for about a minute. Could be more, could be less, depending on your waffle maker. Things sizzling. All right, so let's put this in there. So make sure it's in there. Now let's close it up. Make sure it's secure. And like I said, Could be 30 seconds, could be a minute, just depending on your waffle maker. So let that get nice and warm, and it's gonna soften it up. And then we're actually gonna shape it. And this is what I'm using, the top of my little shaker for my drinks. So I'm just gonna go ahead and lay that on top of there and get it shaped up. So you can see it's kind of bubbling. So I just let it get a little bit browner than that, and then we're gonna take it out and shape it. This guy should be done. So see how it's a little bit light and crispy? All right, so now we're gonna take it out and we're gonna place it on the little lid. All right, it's gonna be hot, so be careful. All right, so just kind of shape it, and as it cools down, it'll form. Like I said, I ended up using the top of my shaker. So you just lay it on there, kind of fold it around, let it cool for a couple minutes. All right, so now that it's cooled off, take that off, and it's like a little shell. It's like a little mini shell. So we're gonna fill that up with some ice cream. So this is our waffle cone. Low carb waffle cone. For those of you that missed the waffle cone, this is a great alternative, and it's sweet with all the stuff that I added onto it. So now we're gonna add our ice cream and our toppings. Look how cute that is. Get that going. Ooh, look at that. Beautiful. Now we got all of our ice cream in there. Look how cute that is. Now put your own toppings on there. So of course I'm gonna add that whipped cream. I'm also gonna add in some Chalk Zero caramel. Oh wow. Some Chalk Zero chocolate, because that's how I roll. Look at that. Some Chalk Zero, no sugar added, little chips. They'll come out. Some sliced almonds, and some garnish. And here's the final product. Look at that beauty. Low carb, guys. Mr. Freeze is happy. I'm happy. I'm gonna dig in. You can see that ice cream melting. I better get to it. As always, I give you the fun fact on the little guy that helped me make my ice cream. So this is Mr. Freeze right here. Got him on a trade like a year ago for some Rick and Morty pop. I don't even remember which one, but PPG says he's going for about $60 right now. He's super cool. Let's look at him. I think this guy's so underrated. I mean, look at the detail on him. Look at the little head on him. He has that plastic covering. So again, I chose him because we made our ice cream today. And this guy is from like 2017, but I absolutely love him. That's it for today, guys. Make sure you go check out my other videos. I have another one on a really super easy chaffle that you can make. So I love bringing super easy recipes that you guys can do and you can do with your kids. And also on what I got on my thrift store hunt. So make sure you go like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Thank you to everybody that has. I really appreciate it. All right, and here's a little preview of my next video. So keep an eye out for that. Make sure you're subscribed. Hit that button so it tells you. Here's a little sneak peek of what's coming in my next video. Can you guess what it is? All right, stay tuned, guys.